Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2021 mid-month general reading. We are looking at the last 2 weeks of January, and this reading is for the air sign of Gemini, our twins. Welcome everyone. I hope you're all safe and well. Thanks for taking the time to tune in and for hitting that like button and that subscribe button if you feel so inclined. I hope that you all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, or at least a nice peaceful one. Okay, so this reading is for Gemini for the last half of January 2021. That's Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, if your Venus is in Gemini. If you're cross-watching for a Gemini, it's all relevant, but of course it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. It's a general reading, not a personal reading. So watch all of your signs if you know them for additional insight and perspective. If you find that any of the readings do resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for anyone else, you can click on the description link below, click on that little arrow which will pull down a little info. You'll see my email address there. Feel free to email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to hear from you. I can usually respond within the same day with more information, and I do readings full time. It's all that I do, so I'm pretty diligent about setting up personal readings in as timely a fashion as possible. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and quite popular as we're starting a brand new year are the 6 and 12-month overviews I do, which give you a look ahead in different areas of your life for 6 or 12 months. You can order them at any time of the year, of course, but more people tend to order them around now as we're starting a new year. So, food for thought. Okay, Gemini, let's see what the last half of January has in store for you. Okay, Gemini, we begin with the Nine of Swords. Not a great way to start. Stress, anxiety, worry, insomnia, usually about fear of an unknown future, with the Fool. Starting over, taking a risk. We have the Queen of Wands, followed by the Page of Coins. We have the Eight of Cups with the Six of Coins. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the last 2 weeks of January is the Seven of Cups. The overall energy with the Seven of Cups, Gemini, suggests that, especially considering the stress I'm seeing here, it may suggest that you're being unrealistic about something or idealistic about something. The Seven of Cups is a card of dreaming, daydreaming, fantasizing, building castles in the sky, imagining what all the possibilities and potentials are, but only the best and most perfect of them. And we all need to dream, we all need to fantasize. This is can be quite a positive card. But it's water energy, which is what governs cups. It's emotional energy, it's not practical energy. It's a card that can represent being in denial of things as well, because you only want to focus on what's good and perfect and happy and cheerful. Because that's kind of what I'm feeling here. I mean, each of these 7 cups is filled with what represents the best potential, the most perfect possible outcome, which is what usually starts us off on a path, envisioning the best of what something could be. But here there's a lot of stress, you know, and not knowing about how something is going to turn out. So it might be being a little too idealistic, like investing in something, you know, time, money, effort, love, whatever, even though nothing's changing or getting better, but you still keep giving to the situation because you tell yourself it's still going to work out to be this wonderful, beautiful thing. But there's stress here, a lot of it, which is what the Nine of Swords is: stress, anxiety, worry, fear, insomnia. Thinking about something obsessively over and over and over again, fearing the future. And what's under it is the Fool, which is starting off on a brand new journey, starting over, doing something that you've never done before, doing something you feel might be quite risky. Because the Fool's all about the journey, blazing new trails. He's not too concerned with the destination. And then we have the Queen of Wands with the Page of Coins. And I feel here, Gemini, that a couple of things. Because I feel like this is your energy. It might be for some of you a fire sign person, female or male, even though it's showing up as a queen because this is a general reading. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. It might be somebody who is significant here for you in this situation. For a lot of you, I feel like this is your energy. Strong, assertive, fierce, brave, courageous. Underneath it, we have the Page of Coins. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. It could be a child or a young person. It could be the energy of how you're feeling, how this Queen of Wands is feeling. Pages are just starting off. They're students, they're apprentices. They don't have the ability yet to begin to manifest things into reality because they're still learning and still trying to figure out how to apply what they're learning to the path ahead of them. So the Page of Coins would represent someone, or the energy of someone, who is sort of at the beginning of trying to figure out how to make something work, how to actually walk down the path they've started on in a practical sort of way. For some of you, it might be worry over a child, maybe an adult child. It could be that you've been helping someone to the point that instead of it being help, it's actually enabling because you're worried. It might be that this is a child or a young person, young adult, maybe your child or young person that you're worried about. You're worried that they might be making choices or living a lifestyle that you think is risky or foolhardy or isn't planning for the future, even though you still, of course, as all parents do, want to hope and believe for the best. And again, for some of you, it might be you being this brave, strong, courageous, assertive person, but underneath that, there's this stress, and you're also worried about maybe if you stop doing something, if you do something different, do something new, stop doing what you have been doing in this situation, you're not exactly sure what that's going to look like and how that's going to work. But at the end here, we have the Eight of Cups, which is a card of turning your back on something that isn't working, isn't fulfilling, and making the decision to move forward, even if you're not quite sure where you're headed. Because chronologically, of course, the card after this is the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, which is your cups overflowing with abundance, getting everything that you want. Here in the preceding card, the Eight of Cups, you haven't found that yet, so you're turning your back on something which has turned out not to work, and you're going off in search of that abundance, that wish fulfillment. And what's with the Eight of Cups is the Six of Coins, which is a card of giving and receiving. It's often called the breadcrumb card because it can represent that somebody gives what they want, when they want, at their convenience from time to time. And it's more about them giving than it is about them giving out of a sense of compassion or altruistic. Hence, breadcrumbs, only giving a little bit here and there. Or giving but sometimes it can represent over-giving. Especially if this is a situation perhaps about supporting an adult child or in any other kind of relationship, because there appears to be a relationship central here, and you're concerned about the person, you're concerned about the relationship. Some of you, it might be, kind of a maternal or paternal relationship. You're walking away from either the breadcrumb energy or the overgiving energy. One person is giving more, far more, than the other person, and the other person is taking. I feel here like you might be over supporting somebody, again, to the point that it's actually perpetuating a negative cycle or enabling somebody where they should be, maybe standing on their own 2 feet and either caring for themselves better, being more responsible for themselves, particularly if this is a parental relationship, or if it's a personal, like romantic relationship or friendship, you're giving past the point, it's actually depleting you and draining you, and you keep trying to be optimistic and positive about it, but all that really means at the end of the day is that you're being unrealistic and you're enabling the situation, whatever it is, to continue. And it looks like some of you may be making the decision or making plans to stop doing that. It could be leaving the situation entirely, or just stopping giving so much because it's depleting you. That's what I'm feeling here. Let's clarify a few things. Let's clarify that Seven of Cups. What is this dreamy, idealistic energy about? The Eight of Pentacles, the work you're putting into something. And the reason we're at an 8 here is because this person has worked so hard in such a dedicated, detail-oriented, building up something for the future kind of way. So this is what, it's, you've put so much effort and work into this person-place situation, and you're still trying to be idealistic about that, and you're like, well, I put in this much work for this long, how could I turn my back on it now? And that kind of reminds me of a saying, don't stay in a mistake simply because you took a long time making it, Let's clarify the Fool, because that appears to be what you're stressed out about, very stressed out about. Starting over again, doing something new, stopping doing whatever it is you have been doing and going off on a different path. And it could be, if you're worried about, particularly like a young person, it could be that you're worried that they're doing something foolhardy or risky, or just not being really responsible, and you worry a lot about their future, which could also be the future of your relationship with them as well. Particularly if, like this is somebody that you've been supporting and you stop doing it, or stop doing it so much, what kind of impact's that going to have on them, on my relationship with them. The Nine of Swords. So we have the Nine of Swords twice here. Let me get these cards out of the way, because I'm using two different decks. And as many of you know, anytime there's repeating cards in a deck, there's an abundance of energy and focus in that area. So this is a lot of stress and anxiety. Again, it's a situation where it feels like you're giving a lot, you're giving too much. Either you're giving too much in the name of love for the person, especially if it's a parental type relationship, and it's actually enabling them to continue not being responsible or not gaining enough responsibility for their own life. Or it's in some other kind of relationship, like a close friend or a romantic partner, where you're giving so much but you're not getting enough back, because you're not achieving what you want. You're not getting to that Nine of Cups, So there's a lot of stress and anxiety about that. And that's ultimately what's at the root here, is you're giving too much and not having the desired effect, regardless of the specifics of the relationship or the situation, because it's going to vary in a general reading. The root of it is that you're giving and giving and giving, and you're not, that giving isn't achieving what you wanted it to achieve, whether it's helping a person become independent and stand up on their own 2 feet, or whether it's in the course of a good friendship or romantic relationship, because they're not giving back in any kind of commensurate way. So let's pull some advice and guidance. What's the best way for Gemini to navigate through this situation, at least for the last 2 weeks of January? The Two of Wands, to make a decision to choose a path. Oh, the card. Something comes to an abrupt end. The Six of Swords, in the name of healing and moving away from whatever the conflict and the struggle is. So what you're being advised to do from Spirit, whether or not you take it, free will, free agency, like I always say, you can choose to say no to what Spirit advises, it's up to you. But what Spirit is strongly advising is that you make the decision to bring all of this giving, to at least the majority of it, to an abrupt end, so that there can be healing for you and potentially for the other person as well. Some of you, this might be actually physically moving and walking away, because there is an implied sense of physical movement here in the leaving. Some of you, it might be just stopping giving all of this to the point that you're enabling the other person to continue, because whatever the situation is, it's not turning out, your giving, your efforts are not turning out to have the effect that you thought your giving and your efforts would, and that needs to stop. The other person needs to either wake up and realize that they need to give back to you as well, like in a romantic or friendship situation. And if it's, you know, helping a young person or helping somebody, particularly in a financial and material way, then they need to realize and maybe be shown in a pretty abrupt sort of way that you're doing this because out of love and compassion, but you're also doing it to help them get further ahead and help them be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So that's the advice and guidance for you regarding this situation, Gemini. Tricky and challenging, I know. I think we've all been through something like this or similar to this at least once. It can be very difficult to just say, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and setting your boundaries, because there's a fear of the impact it's going to have on the other person or situation. Not only with them individually, but also in the relationship you have with them. You know, it can be a very scary and very challenging thing to do, but that's what you're being asked to do, or to at least look at and explore doing here. So Gemini, that is your reading for the last half of January. I hope that you found it helpful and useful, maybe gave you some insight or at least some food for thought. Again, if any of these readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading or information about that, you can click on the description link below, that little arrow. You'll see my email address there. Just email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the February general readings. Until then, stay safe and well. Be blessed. I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care.